let's
Give
square the
us
peg
your
here. Okay,
let's square the
so
peg.
so in the world in financial markets, that's what I do all the time. Um, the sort of the two parting memories of the last 48 hours. The the reaction to an initial bad event, it's always an overreaction. So everyone is selling everything that they shouldn't be, and they're buying stuff at the top that they shouldn't be. And then as the day goes on, and the mainstream media, the rhetoric is no longer so loud because you've heard it all day long. Then things get to play out. And I've said before, like let these things play out as they go. It's not over yet. It really is a game of chess that's going to happen. So the Russians made their play. Now the Americans / NATO, they'll do something next. Everyone has to come out a winner. But in the world, if you're anyone making their investment decisions out there, like don't go reacting. Like maybe on this, I didn't tell a story this episode. I did Seinfeld, I think, last week, right? But do you remember the little guy on it? Who was a bit awkward, George.
Newman.
George. Well, he's a character himself, but the other guy, George Costanza. Remember, he had a principle one day. He just said, or a thought. He said he's just going to do the opposite of every instinct that he has, and he started living a fantastic life. Job promotions, and his relationships, did a lot better. In the investment world, sometimes you need to do that. Like you just don't overreact, and that's what's happening here. I'm not implying that all this is over yet, but just as last year, and again, like always think about things from highs and lows. Last year, people were tripping up over themselves to buy in certain parts of the market, and they're all buying at the high or within 5% of the high. And now here we are, like 30, 60, 80% lower from where they bought it. Now they're selling today. Like, hey, the Bitcoin, you call me the Bitcoin guy sometimes, Steve. We wouldn't even talk about it. Like here's an asset that, you think that'd be screaming higher today, but it's not. Like it's down hard. So at the point in time, you're holding something that you think is going to do really well for you. It doesn't happen. So does that mean you're running out today to sell your Bitcoin because of this? No, you held it for other reasons, so you should continue to do it. But again, there's reactions out there. So by the way, people selling Bitcoin today is to cover losses elsewhere.
I was gonna say because
yeah.
Well,
that's just observations on markets, right? Market psychology, it's so incredibly important, and most people do the exact opposite of what they should should That's my
I think that's a good point, because you brought up like sometimes like trades or the market doesn't necessarily always move in the way that you think it should or it will move. And the one that I kind of highlight the most, I think, is like how gold has traded over the last, like up until more recently here, up in like the last 18 months. The whole gold bull case was, oh my God, like US M2 money supply was up like 30%. We're printing all this money, inflation at like 30-year highs, and it was like gold was like like didn't move. And obviously now it's picking up here, but like I just think like theses and doesn't always play out the way that you think it's going to play out. So
just one more thing to leave everyone with here. So again, from a market perspective, so the most interesting currency today is the Japanese yen. So earlier this morning, it was reacting the way that it should react, and that as crappy as it is in Japan financially, it is considered a safe haven. So this morning, like everything is red in the currency world except for the yen. Yen is up versus the dollar, right? That's what was happening. A few hours later, I guess now, obviously, like yen is down as well. So it's a pretty powerful move. When everyone, remember I talked about people leave the emerging market world, they run for safety and protection, all that stuff. So all of a sudden, when you have people that are selling yen as well, like this is a pretty big swing. And remember, it's a swing, right? It's not a permanent plateau on anything. But, guys, watch yen. It's always an incredibly important measure, for how serious, capital is moving around. And because capital is one market, it doesn't go back to the other, right? It goes somewhere else. How's that for a mystery, which we'll get into next week?
I think it's a good way to wrap it up. I didn't give my usual